my God, everybody. Hey, Bjørn-Rune Nilsen. These two albums, what are they called again? The Slayer album, Diablos and Musica, versus System of a Down, Mezmerize. Alright, here's the deal with this. You already know what I feel about System of a Down because Bjorn asked me to do them before. Now, Bjorn's a fan of theirs. So he understands, you know. He saw my last review, me saying, man, you know, this ain't my thing. You know, but, you know, he's cool. He doesn't care. You think he gives a fuck? He's going to continue liking System of a Down the way it should be, man. You know? I'm not telling anybody what they should and should not like. If you like Sammy Hagar Belcher, awesome. Seek help, but awesome. All right, here we go. Oh, wait. Yeah, screw System of a Down. Slayer, on the other hand. You know, honestly, I listened to Divine Intervention the other day, and it's way better than I remember because I kind of like gave up on Slayer after the Season of the Abyss. I got Divine Intervention. I'm like, it's just Slayer trying, you know, being Slayer for the sake of being Slayer. That's how I felt back then. I don't feel that way anymore. And I think they did the Punk album, which was all right. And then they did this. I don't remember them doing some before. Maybe. I don't know. All I know is I kept buying Slayer albums. Every time Slayer had a new album, I'd buy it. This one came out, I went out and bought it. I came home and I couldn't believe my freaking ears. Seriously, nobody talks about this shit, and they talk about Saint Anger and the Loads and stuff. This is new metal, or is what I call poo metal. It is Slayer doing new metal. Not the whole album, but but pretty much the whole album has songs with elements of new metal, and then there's songs that are total new metal. It's a disgraceful album. I know there's people that like it. My co-host in Rock and Metal Combat Podcast, he likes this album so much that me and him, you know, we had a falling out at one point, and I went my way, he went his, and he went and started a podcast called Diablos and Podcastica. I think that's what it was called. Diablos and Podcastica. And I could have warned him back then. Don't name your show after a crappy Slayer album. People are running away from that album. Anybody sees the title of your podcast, they're going to run away from it. The album sucks, but there's one song, actually 2 songs I'll say. Because here's another thing. I do own it. I still got it. And I don't know, maybe 7 years ago or something, I gave it another chance. I go, you know what? Fuck. And I remember vividly listening to the whole thing. And I was like, fuck. Terrible. So I did it again today after 7 years, and it's terrible. But terrible wins in these suck versus suck episodes. So let's watch some terrible songs win on both sides. All right, starting it off with Bitter Peace. It sounds uninspired. It just doesn't sound, it sounds like Slayer just being, I don't know, lazy or something. Doesn't grab me. Versus Soldier Side. It's small, you know, mellow, but it's kind of killer, to tell you the truth. I'm giving that one a System of a Down syndrome. All right, next. Death Head versus BTOB. All right, Death Head is new metal garbage. Garbage. Slayer doing new metal. This is bouncy garbage. And that's going against BYOB. I remember, I think I saw this video back in the day because I was watching it today, listening to this shit. And I go, yeah, this looks kind of familiar. Like I saw it back in the day going, man, this sucks. And my brain, all these years later, was trying to keep it out, and it just crept in again. Terrible song. So bad, I'm giving it to Poo Metal Slayer. Slayer takes that one. All right, next. Stain of Mind This is embarrassing. Seriously, it's an embarrassing song. And that's going against Revenge. The riffs are okay. You know, I can hear the originality in this band, and I do understand why people would like this, because it's out of the norm, you know? And I'm getting text messages. It's out of the norm, so I bought a long-ass cord. Let me look here. All right. Anyway, as I shall continue. I can see the originality. The song I still think sucks, but it wins. It wins. I gotta give that one. Like I told you, shitty songs will win. All right, next, Perversions of Pain. This song is almost okay, and that's going against Radio Video. Ew. I'm on the radio. I keep saying this weird shit. Oh my God, it's beyond annoying. It loses. All right, let's pick an album here, and let's go over here. This episode is being brought to you by Bjørn-Rune Nilsen and... What is this? Oh, Candlemass. Yeah, this is, it's cool. It's like an EP. And I got this album, and it came in yellow vinyl. I went to a record store in South Beach, and I went crazy. You know, I was buying all these records. And the guy said, hey, do you like Candlemass? I go, fuck, I love Candlemass. He goes, here, you can have this. I was like, really? And it's good. It's good shit. Good pick. I should play this. I'm going to play this after I'm done here. It's a cool EP. All right. Let's go to side 2 of the Suck Fest. That doesn't suck. See, I'm hoping I pick a shitty album. There are shitty albums in here, but they're so little. It's kind of like picking a needle in a haystack. I have picked shitty albums before, you know? So I hope, you know, I just hope they suck when I do the Suck versus Suck. It would go with the theme of the show. Side 2. Love to Hate versus This Cocaine Makes Me Feel Like on the Song. I don't know. It sounds, you know, it does sound like the song, like they're on a lot of blow. But man, Love to Hate is so bad. So bad. I'm giving it to Down syndrome. All right, next. Desire. This is not my Slayer. And that's going against Violent Pornography. It's so bad that crappy Slayer song wins. It's so bad. All right, next. In the Name of God versus Question. In the Name of God, it's whatever. It's forgettable. Question, yeah, there's a video for this song, and it's just as crappy. Horrible song. I'm giving that one to Poo Metal Slayer. All right, next. Scrum versus Sad Statue. Scrum is the only song I like on this album. When I first bought that album and played it all the way through, and I'm toward the end of it, I was like, that's a good song. That sounds like Slayer to me. Ain't no poo metal in this shit. And what's that going after, against? Sad Statue. You know, the vocals are way too much for my brain. I'm giving that to Slayer. All right, next. Screaming from the Sky against Old School Hollywood. Now, Screaming from the Sky, I hear Slayer, but I also hear kind of garbage. And Old School Hollywood, all I hear is System of a Down. It loses. It's horrible. They both suck. but that one loses. Alright, finally, the last song. Point versus Lost in Hollywood. The song before was Old School Hollywood. This one's Lost in Hollywood. Alright, Point, you know what? Not bad. Better than I remember, to tell you the truth. Maybe I was just so burnt out on this album that by the time I got to the last song, I was like, ugh. But it's not bad. It's like Scrum and that song are the only two songs for me that I like on Podcastica and Musica. That's what it was called. Podcastica and Musica, not Musica and Podcastica. Either way, it sucked. I never heard the episode, but when it failed, I wasn't happy about it, but I also thought, well, you know, that's what you get for naming a fucking naming an album that has a song called Desire. I mean, Slayer, man. Whatever. All right, Point is good. Lost in Hollywood, mellow lameness. I'm giving that to Slayer. So Bjorn, this is the final score. Yeah, Slayer won, but you know what? In the end, they lose. They both lose. And we all lose. Bjorn, you like these albums. You lose, my friend. And me, I had to listen to it. I lose. I'm just kidding about Bjorn losing. But I sure the hell lost. But that's okay, because Bjorn's my buddy, and I do a little suffering. And yeah, that's another thing I want to say. A lot of people leave comments going, man, I don't know how you do this, man. How can you suffer through things? It's like, man, do you know what suffering is? This is just listening to crappy music. I can always take a break and come back to it tomorrow, which I usually do. I'm not going to lie. These suck versus suck. It's very rare I'll sit through the whole goddamn thing in one day. Ain't going to happen. Especially when you throw in System of the System Down, whatever the fuck they're called. And Diablos and Musica. Those two albums, it's like, yeah, it's going to take me a few days to do this one. And it did. And here it is, all right? So I hope you all enjoyed it. And those that love these albums, you're just like Bjorn. And I love Bjorn, so I guess that makes me love you too. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Ring the little notification bell. And if you like to donate, I got a PayPal in the description below. Oh, and like the video. It's good for the YouTube algorithms. So stay frosty. Listen to Hell Awaits and schmack 'em a gob.